Season 5 pre-season. Getting into the action a whole week early, as I'm sure, like us, you've missed the racing. My name is Kelsey Gill, and I'm reunited once again with my good friend and colleague, Zach Sweeney. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, it's another season. I'm stuck with Kelsey Gill again, but it's all good because he's all right, I suppose. Yeah.
Gosh, harsh words from the young man. Well, tonight we find ourselves at a vibrant circuit described thus for its many layouts and colourful run-off areas. The circuit Paul Ricard, located in the south of France, is a 5.77km circuit that has been designed as the perfect test track, and it's the perfect place for a pre-season race. Fast, medium and slow corners and long straights make up this track. That is a little more difficult than it appears on the surface. It takes patience to get the most out of this track, and those that can do that will go fast. Look out for drivers taking naps down the long run between turn 8 and 9, as there is no Mistral chicane to get in the way. It's a track that has a lot of mixed opinions, Zach, and I'm very interested to hear what you think of this circuit.
Well, I'm a bit of a split opinion in all fairness. I think that I'm quite a centralist with how people view Paul Ricard. Obviously, I understand the dislike towards it, the copious amounts of tarmac runoff. But also in the GT world, it's not actually that bad when it comes to out-and-out racing. And even in the Formula 1 world, with sort of the 2021 and 2022 edition of the French Grand Prix, it wasn't actually that bad of a race. It's just because when you've got difficulties overtaking, you've got difficulties overtaking everywhere. And I think the aesthetic of this circuit more sort of discourages people more than anything. I think out and out racing wise, it's not actually that bad. It's got the fast, it's got the slow, it's got the medium, it's got the technical, it's got a decent amount of different corners, which I think shows to be why it's chosen as the preseason test track, why it is going to give us the best gauge as to why different people deserve to be in different places come at the start of the season, who's going to be pro, silver, who's going to be AM. And it just means that, yeah, we have a nice introduction into the championship, a nice slow, no pressure. Let's just get the cobwebs off. Let's see where we're at. And it's a good venue to do so. This long run here, you can relax. You're not going to get tired because you've got a long Mistral straight to relax.
Yeah, exactly. I'm inclined to agree with you, to be honest. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for France every time I have raced here. My experience, of course, being behind the wheel of an F1 car, but it's just a track that's good for overtaking. There's always some interesting races, and yes, the real sort of life Grand Prix aren't always as boring, but I've always found in the virtual world it throws up some great stuff, and I'm sure we're going to be in for quite the race this evening, with it being pre-season, of course. And well, I'll quickly run you through the format. We've got 20 minutes of qualifying, which we've already had about 3.5 minutes or so, and we're going to have a 30-minute race with no pit stop, so it's going to be all-out action from the green flag onwards, so we should be in for a good one. And well, the purpose of this pre-season race, of course, is to get the drivers categorized into their classes, into their pros, their silvers, and their AMs, and to see where everybody is before we go racing for round 1 at the Nürburgring next week. So you'll notice all of the tags, all of the numbers are red, so everybody is classed as an AMS for the time being, but that is certainly not the case. And well, there's some new names, there's some familiar names. Zach, well, are you excited to see any of the new ones? Have you got your eye on anybody in particular? What do you think of the drivers out there on the grid at the moment?
Well, a lot of them, as you say, are a bit of a step into the unknown. A couple of you might recognise them from the TSRC's new 500 series, where they are doing a bit of an endurance stance of things. I unfortunately couldn't be there for the season, so I'm going to be doing a couple of them. I just couldn't enjoy the first couple of rounds of it. But if you are more inclined into the endurance side of things, definitely do take a look, because the TSRC are very, very good, and they're even good whether it's sprint or endurance. So make sure you are checking them out. But yeah, a couple of recognisable names, obviously, in that crossover period. So for those of you that are inclined with the TSRC at 500, you might recognise them, you might see what they're like, you might sort of already have a good gauge as to what their pace is. I've been here since the start of season 1, and there's still some names that I don't know. So just cut me a bit of slack. But the main ones, as you can see, we've got Smoggy, Southfield, Nuttall, Wright, all still towards the sharp end of the field, particularly Sir Smoggy. Of course, he's the multiple-time champion of the TSRC, so I think he's going to be quite inclined to succeed, particularly off the sort of low of last season. I mean, it wasn't dreadful by any means. He still finished third in the championship, but it wasn't anywhere near where he would have wanted to be, not even taking a single win. So I think Sir Smokey is probably going to be the biggest one to keep an eye on because of how quick he was through sort of season 1 to season 3, and then 4 was a bit of a blip. I think he's going to be interested to sort of bounce back into things, but also Jamie Nuttall, the reigning champion of season 4, the man that had all to prove after narrowly missing out in season 1. I think he's also going to be on for a returning reigning charge. So yeah, plenty to look out for, and obviously the new guys, they've got all to prove.
Yeah, they do, and there's a lot of shake-ups in there, and one thing you will notice is that some drivers have opted for some different cars. You'll see Sir Smokey's no longer in his Mercedes, he's in the Audi now. I think Sam Fleety's swapped his Porsche for an Audi, as has Jack Southfield, but he swapped it for a Bentley. Instead, Jamie Nuttall swapped, I think he was in the Ferrari last season, he's now in the Lexus. I'm sort of trying to spot some big ones that have shaked up. Where's Hamling? Is he still in the Lamborghini as he has always been? I don't know if he's out there. We'll wait and see until his name sort of pops up. But there's a Nissan out there. Gerhard Alkamp's opted for the Nissan. I don't think that's a car that I've seen out on the GT3s at the moment. There it is going round. I do like a Nissan, Zach. It's a very, very lovely car. But Striker, he's no longer in his Honda, Zach. As long as the livery's striking, I don't care. But he's opted for the Ferrari. Slav, car number 7, or Vyacheslav Volodya, if you want to call him by his full name. He's in the Mercedes this time. No grey Ferrari hurtling into the braking zones. There it is, in the Tiger liveried car. Look at that. That is quite the it's quite the eye-catching livery out there from Slav. And yeah, he's opted for his Tiger striped Mercedes. I'm sure he'll be hoping those Tiger stripes give him an extra few tenths of a second and the ability to brake in good time without hitting anybody. But I'll stop dumping on Slav as he goes around. We'll take a look at the timings. At the moment, we've got Lima is P3 at the moment. I can't quite see, but there's the usual names toward top of the table at the moment, Zach. And well, one thing I'll add to your point from earlier is that the drivers will have now had a lot more time to get used to the update that we had in the game, where the tires changed, wear changed, the physics engine changed a little bit, and the cars were also updated to more recent versions to more recent models, I guess, from their previous iterations. And well, that's going to have a big effect, do you think?
Indeed. So, I mean, familiarity is always a nice thing when it comes to sim racing, motorsport in general. Obviously, we don't like change, but recently, was it recently? I mean, it was with Valencia and things. We had the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo 2 added to the service alongside the Ferrari 296 GT3, the newest addition in Ferrari's roster, and that has taken ACC almost by storm, it must be said. I commented on the GT Omega Challenger Cup, and a lot of the successful teams are in Ferraris. It just seems to be the car that's quick. And I think over the course of the back end of last season, I mean, we saw it with Jamie Nuttall as well, and his charge in the 296. He was sensationally quick. Same too with Hamling in the Huracan GT3 Evo 2. Very, very quick drivers in very, very quick cars. And now they've had a season to build on those skills, to have that experience. And obviously Kunos have made their adjustments, bopped them ever so slightly. But I think it still remains that the Ferrari is the most drivable and the most versatile car on the field. So maybe we could see a bit of a dominance from the Ferrari. Not necessarily right now, because as it stands, it's Sam Fleet and Sir Smokey and 2 Audis that lead the way. But maybe as an overarching dominance, not necessarily dominance, but overarching competitiveness from the Ferrari, because it's going to be consistent at each and every single of the tracks that we go to over the course of the season. Also with the Porsche 992, I think it's also relatively new. So again, quite a pointy Porsche might still be quite competitive. But yeah, I've said all of that, but also at the same time, I completely disagree with myself, because car choice has never been a massive, massive thing on ACC. Yes, there are going to be cars that are quicker than others at different circuits, but as long as you're in a car that you're comfortable with, Kelsey, it shouldn't be an issue. As long as you can extract the potential out of a car, you could still very easily get yourself into a top 10, still very easily compete for a podium. So yeah, I think we've just seen the drivers go for what's most comfortable to them, which, as it stands, seems to be the Ferrari.
Yeah, there's a lot of Ferraris out there. I was just looking through the grid at the moment. There's a lot less Porsches than there were last season, so a few drivers opted for a few different choices. There's a couple more Aston Martins, which is nice to see. I've always liked an Aston Martin as well. Myself, I've always been a big James Bond fan as far as movie taste goes. But yes, to go back onto racing as Adam Brown finds the very limits of track limits, almost getting his lap time deleted there at least as he's going around turn number 9 now. But yeah, it's going to be a mixed bag, I think. And like you say, there are certain circuits where the car does have an effect, but it's going to be down to the driver and what the drivers can extract from both the track and the machinery that they're operating around at the moment. And I did notice Ethan Faulkner's jumped to the top of the timings. He's 2/10 quicker than Sam Fleety in his Audi at the moment, with Sir Smoggy only a few hundredths of a second behind as well. Then there's a bit of a bigger jump. That's Jose Lima in the other Ferrari in P4. He's 6/10 of a second back. Then there's Jack Southfield in his Bentley. He's a second slower than the pole time at the moment. We're over the halfway mark now at the moment. Can Adam Brown shake things up? No, I think he's going to be going around again. Here's Jamie Nuttall in his Audi. Can he close that gap? Can car number 14 find himself towards the sharp end of the grid at the moment? I'm sure he can. Where is he on track at the moment? He's coming down that incredibly long straight. It is so long without the Minstrel chicane there, Zach, and it's going to be, well, is it going to be an overtaking opportunity, or are we just going to see a long drag race all the way down to turn 9?
You see, because it is a tricky one. Obviously, we'll just see the sheer amount of speed that Jamie Nuttall is going to take through in the Lexus. By the way, I love the Lexus. Not only does it sound beautiful, it looks beautiful. It's big, it's chonky, and it is fast. And obviously, it does need to look after its size a little bit, but we'll obviously touch on that over the course of the season. Nice looking car for Jamie Nuttall, a nice breath of fresh air as well for the reigning champion. But turn 9 in of itself, I mean, even without the Mistral chicane, it's a very fast corner. You're still taking it upwards of 100 miles an hour. You're not slowing down much, even in these GT3 cars, which are, you know, look like a digestive biscuit compared to a Formula 1 machine, right? That is just, they still have a decent amount of aero and are still able to take turn 9 at a decent speed. But that doesn't mean necessarily it's not going to be a no-go zone in terms of overtaking. If you're in the slipstream and you get a good overlap, by all means, go for a move. I don't think it's going to be a late break, send the move from 5/10 back, but it could still be an overtaking opportunity for sure. Again, we'll just have to wait and see. The thing about today is that these guys have got all the opportunity in the world in order to practice where they can overtake, because today doesn't really mean much apart from your classification, whether you're pro or you're am, and Jim McGowan not really setting the best standard there in the purple Ferrari.
No, very close there. He won't want to do that again too many more times, at least, in his purple Ferrari. One thing I am also enjoying, Zach, is all the liveries that are out there as well. Some new liveries, a bit minimalist here from Gardner Mav in his BMW, but you know, sometimes less is more, as they say. As he comes around, is it going to give him some more lap time, perhaps, as he runs down to the line? Is he on an out lap? I don't know. Let's see as he comes across. He's in P9 currently. And yes, he was on an out lap, or that was his lap, so no real improvement from Mav at the moment. Here's Sir Smoggy in his Audi. He's coming around to complete a lap. Now just one more corner to navigate for the German. Where can he find himself? Where can car number 284 place himself in the standings? Can it be on that top step, at least provisionally now? There's still plenty of time. Oh, it's 300ths of a second away from Falconer's time at the top at the moment. And it's a very good attempt from Smoggy. There's got to be some more lap time out there. Somebody's got to be able to find it, Zach. It's just a question of who it's going to be.
Absolutely. And chances are it's probably going to be one of the top 3. I mean, Lima and Southfield are into the pit lane with 5.5 minutes left to go. It's not the end of the world. I think they could still be able to get a lap time in if they leave sort of within the next minute or so. Obviously, for those of you that aren't necessarily as acclimatized with the Assetto Corsa Competizione, first of all, it's a great platform, fantastic racing, and I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself with the GT3s. But basically, if you're more familiar with, say, iRacing or Racestream, where you get kicked out as soon as the session kicks 0, that's not the case with ACC. It's a bit more lenient. It's a bit more reflective of real life in the sense that as soon as the time ticks 0, the checker flag's waved. As soon as you cross the checker flag, that is your session done. So you still get to finish the lap you're on, which means that it's a little bit nicer for these guys and cars, because if they're on a good lap, they get to finish said good lap, which I think might be a little bit nicer for the likes of Faulkner and Smokey and Fleety, those that are in contention, and pretty much for the entire field, because in their own respective fights, they are still able to complete their lap time and get themselves as high up as possible. So still plenty of time on the cards, still plenty of opportunities on the cards. It is just all about nailing that lap time, which is easier said than done, because when you first get onto a circuit, you do a lap, you think, oh yeah, learning the circuit, learning the corners, braking points, wherever, blah, 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 blah. You do your next lap, and it's like, okay, brake 100 meters later for there. I'm going to do it. 5 tenths gained. A second gained at the end of the lap. Then you do another one. You gain another second. You gain then 3/4 of a second, half a second, a quarter of a second, a tenth of a second. And as you get closer and closer, more lap times put in, more improvements made, the less likely you are to find more of an improvement. So the further on in the session we get, it's going to be just that little bit more tricky for people to find the difference. Fortunately for Sir Smokey, it's not a massive difference. It just means that when the time counts, he's going to need to nail that lap time.
Yeah, he is. He's just going to have to dig deep, find something. He's going to have to use the track evolution to his advantage and maybe just extract that little bit of lap time where he can. It's all about fine margins in motorsport. And, well, Maurice Stryker, he's trying to get himself a bit further on the board. No lap time for him at the moment. And it's a bit of a doled down version of his previous livery in the Honda on this Ferrari. It's a blue Ferrari. You don't see them very often, but when you do, it's like... well, it feels a little bit wrong, doesn't it, I suppose? I've seen red Ferraris, I've seen yellow Ferraris, I've seen white Ferraris, but I've never really seen blue ones. But Stryker really rocking it as he makes his way around the final couple of corners. Can car number 23 get himself on the board? Is this just an outlap for him? We're yet to find out. He's going to come down and cross the line at the moment. Where can he put himself in his Ferrari? At the moment, oh, it's a great lap from Stryker. He's put him right up into P4. That's 4 tenths. He's knocked Lima down into P5 at the moment. That's not a bad attempt from him at all. And here comes Slav in his Mercedes. Can he get that tiger striped livery into the top 10 at the moment? Let's see where he goes at the moment. Coming down towards the line. It's a long run to it at the minute. And it's not an improvement, and I don't think he was on a fast lap either way. No, he's starting one perhaps, but I've just noticed the red in those lights, Zach. It really does look very sort of aggressive, that livery. The lone Nissan of Gerard Alkamp now coming to complete a lap. Can he get himself any further up the order at the moment with the 2 minutes that we have left on the timing board? No improvement from Alkamp either.
No, not quite, but... in one of the best sounding cars on the field, it must be said, that Nissan GTR, it's just, I don't know, it's, yeah, they're just cool cars. They're Godzilla, of course, the progression from the R30, I think they just started with R31 and then all the way up now to the, to where they are now with the R35 and R36, I think also is a thing nowadays. But yeah, just fantastic cars. They look great, and they're big as well, which means they take up a lot of space on circuit, which is easy if you want to try and defend, I suppose. Alkamp, though, being that far back in the field, probably won't be doing much defending, probably going to be trying to move his way up the field as much as possible. A Flying Dutchman of Nico Veldman, he's going to start his final lap time of the session, goes within 3/4 of a second of pole position and up to the top 6. Not too far off the back of Lima for the top 5, but I think Veldman there pulling off, and that's an end to his qualifying session. So now into the final stages of qualifying here for the pre-season race, and plenty of people still got a couple of cobwebs to shake off, but for the most part it seems that people are firing on all cylinders, particularly the likes of Faulkner and Smokey. Yeah,
I think today's just going to be about having fun out there for the drivers, and yeah, like you say, shaking off the cobwebs. It's going to be the most important thing. Ryan Blanchette's coming round, one of the newer names, at least to the GT3 PC Series here in car number 5. Perhaps a fan of Budweiser beer as well, but he's coming down towards the line. I think is he starting a lap or is he setting one? We're about to find out. He's set one. He's improved a little bit, not too much. It only sees him up into P17 for the time being. There goes Gardner Mav. He's improved up into the top 6. Decent lap from him and his BMW at the moment. Who else is out there on a lap and looking for some improvement? We'll wait and see. There's a few drivers in the pits. The likes of Smokey and Fleety, they're not going to improve. I think Falconer's looking to open up that gap, and I think he has a little bit, actually. The gap has opened up by only 15 hundredths of a second. There's Jack Southwood in his Bentley. It's a much stockier car than the Porsche. Can he be the same nimble, aggressive driver as he was in this Bentley? He misses the apex there at turn 9. and I don't know how this lap's going to go for him. The Bentley has not been the best of cars when it comes to GT3 racing.
No, I mean, again, it is big, so naturally it is going to have more mass than the others, and therefore be a little bit more sluggish with things, but it's still a very, very fast car. And it's actually surprisingly quite pointy on the front end. I remember driving the Bentley for some time when I did some ACC action. It's a nice car. It does get the job done. It is just a case of maybe a lack of talent from Jack Southfield. I mean, look at that. He missed the apex clearly. No, I'm joking. We just love picking on Jack Southfield. For those of you that are new to the TSRC, you will very quickly pick up on who we do and don't like. And one of them is Jack Southfield. No, we kid. He's a very, very quick driver. Finds himself in the top 10. Second off pole. Considering he's a driver that often contends for top 5 podiums wins, 10th place. I mean, of course, it is a new car to him, so he's using this as a bit of a scrub down session, if you like. Yeah, I still don't think that's going to be where Southfield's going to be aspiring to be come the season's end.
No, he'll definitely want to get himself up there. He's a phenomenal driver in that position, and when he's on his day, he can get himself into the top 3 and in this position to be winning races as well. But we've hit the checkered flag. It's now waved. The timings are on 0. We're just waiting for the final few drivers to come along. I think Gerhard Alkamp in the Nissan GTR is going to be the last driver to cross the line. Can he improve? Can he steal pole position? Perhaps it's a bit of a far-fetched claim at the moment, but we'll wait and see as he crosses the line. No, he only improves up 1 position. So we'll run you through our grid for this evening. It's Ethan Faulkner on the top step with the 2 Audis of Sir Smokey and Sam Fleety in positions number 2 and 3. Then there's Maurice Stryker in car number 23. Then there's Jose Lima rounding off your top 5. Then P6 belongs to Gardner Mav. Then we've got James Wright in P7. Nico Veldman, Jamie Nuttall and Jack Southfield round off your top 10. Then we have Elias Troyer, Stuart Pryor, Mauritius Karisiak in P number 13. Then we have Gemello, then Tomasi, Volodja, Blanchette, Spies, McGowan, Fiera. As we wait for the rest of the grid to go all the way down, we've got Hartig, Alkamp, Steenbergen, Vasconcelos, Brown and Martins rounding off the rest of the grid then. So it's really hard to tell what's going to happen, to be honest, as there's no clear indicator of which sort of races we're watching. We're watching the whole race as one, I suppose, but we're going to be watching the top guys. We're going to be watching Faulkner, Smokey, Fleety, and I must say, Faulkner, he did look quick in the practice sessions before, so the new name on the grids to watch, I think, who will be coming to challenge the likes of Smokey, of Fleety, of Wright, and all of the other quick guys at the top. Doesn't matter about Pro, Silver and Am. We're watching this one race to go, and well, the excitement's building up, Zach.
It is indeed. Obviously, it is exciting. Getting ready for a new season. Well, I've done it from season 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5. So all 5 seasons of the TSRC. It's been great to be with them since the inception of the PC GT3 series. It is always that the initial buzz, the excitement of a new season. Obviously, not in its entirety. We'll do that in a week's time when we go to the Nürburgring for round 1. That'll really be when the adrenaline gets going. But just the sense of the excitement, a new season's coming up. This is the preseason race. This is our first sort of gauge of who's done what and who's practiced the most and who's looking quick for the new season ahead. And it is just, well, there's not necessarily points on the board. You still want to succeed. You still want to stake your claim. You still want to give yourself the best amount of confidence possible going into round 1. You don't want to start the season on the back foot. Faulkner, Smokey, Fleety, Stryker, Lima, they all want to finish inside the top 5. They all want to say to themselves, sweet, awesome, top 5 at the preseason race. I deserve to be here. I'm still quick and I can do this. I can compete. As opposed to having a spin, having a crash, and going into the season angry, frustrated, sorry for yourself. So many different emotions going through, obviously, each and every single one of these drivers. But it should be a fantastic race. And well, 30 minutes on the clock, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, it should be a good one. It's a quick time to mention that the live chat is looking very, very barren at the moment. Do come and say hello. Do strike up a conversation, even if it's to tell us your favourite driver or your favourite livery or even your favourite corner at Paul Ricard if you want to be that specific about something. But just come and tell us something. Strike up a conversation. We promise we don't bite anymore. We have really been told not to do that. James really did slap us on the wrists for that before, but the three of you now watching in the live chat, please do come and say something. And if you're new to JP Broadcasting, do subscribe and do share us around as well. There's plenty of racing action to be had here on JP Broadcasting every day. There's something going on, so please do check us out and give us all the attention. James works incredibly hard to keep us commentators all commentating on something fun. And well, if you're a motorsport enthusiast like ourselves, then there's something for you all to find. But it's pre-season, Zach, and well, there's no points on the board as you say, but are the drivers going to be going full beans? Are they going to be sending the moves? They're going to be driving as if there's everything at stake there at the moment. How do you use a pre-season race in preparation for the season to come?
Well, yeah, that's that. I mean, again, touched on to what I was just saying a moment ago. It's just that initial buzz, I think, more than anything. Just the excitement of a new season, wanting to set yourself up well, wanting to get the season starting well, going into the Nürburgring with full of confidence. So yeah, you are going to want to go out there and stake your claim and be quick and show everyone how good you are. But also, it's the only time this season where there's no points on offer, where you can go out there and, well, throughout the whole season, you are going to be having fun. But today, really enjoy it. Send moves, defend hard. There's no pit stops involved, so it's just a straight 30-minute sprint to the end. You can afford to sort of have those squabbles and send more aggressive moves, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean as much. It doesn't, well, in essence, it doesn't really mean anything apart from deciding who gets placed where. But things get taken into consideration. Your pace here, your pace there, your pace in previous seasons. If you crash out of this race, you probably won't be smacked into a category that you're not necessarily deserving of. If you're Guillaume Hamling, for example, who isn't here today, but just for example, if you're Guillaume Hamling and you crash out on lap 1, they're not going to be that harsh and put Hamling into the AMS, because they know how quick Hamling is, sort of thing. So there's no pressure really for those that know they're quick and know their pace, and the TSRC know their pace and know how quick they are. They can go out there, they can enjoy themselves, they can have those moves, have those races, fight for the win, whatever they want. I think today is just a scrub down session. Get used to the new season, get used to some new people, new cars, new track, whatever it is. Just go out there, have fun, enjoy yourself. No pressure, 30 minutes on the clock and have a drive.
Yeah, and then I suppose a quick word on the formation lap then, Zach. How the drivers feeling out there? Are they going to calm down those exciting nerves as they line themselves up 2 by 2 to get this race starting?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd say that the best thing to do is to set yourself a target. For Faulkner, it's going to be keep P1. For Smokey, it might be overtake Faulkner. For Striker, it might be get ahead of Fleety. For Troyer or Southfield, it might be I'm going to gain 2 places on the first lap. I'm going to do this, set myself a target, and that, in essence, gives you something to focus on. Not necessarily tunnel vision, but just a nice aspiration more than anything. Because the worst thing you want is to be stressing, doubting yourself, overthinking. One clear passage is very, very important, but we're about to get ourselves underway. Faulkner will lead them round and underway for 30 minutes of racing.
Yeah, here we go then. 2 by 2 they go, like Noah's Ark, through this final corner, getting this rolling start, ready to go. The green flags are almost ready to be waved as they come down towards the line. It's Faulkner and Smokey lining up along the front. Who's going to get the better start as they go into turns 1 and 2? The chicane, of course. It's going to be all eyes on the front of the grid at the moment, waiting for the green flags as we build up the action. It's go time as we are away here at Paul Ricard. And, well, Sam Fleety looks like he's got an incredible start. He's challenging Smokey at the moment, but Smokey's got the outside line on Faulkner at the moment. Faulkner keeps the inside, though, breaks that a little bit later and keeps ahead at the moment as Maurice Striker follows him through as well. He's got a great exit on turn 2. They're going to draw side by side with Sam Fleety now coming down to the next corner at the moment. There's something going on in the backfield at the moment, but we're keeping our action on here, and that's Blanchette. He's round.
Yeah, not the great way to debut himself to this championship. Jack Southfield picking his way through. Interesting lines taken from the Ferrari. But as the time and tower sorts itself out, Jack Southfield, where's he going to settle himself into? 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, I think. No, 9th. So progress forward for Southfield. Same to Nuttall directly behind him in pursuit. Now the run, of course, this long run through the Mistral Straight towards turn number 9. And this is really where we're going to start to see some moves maybe open up with the slipstream, of course. These drivers are going to gain a lot, at least Elias Troyer, I should say. Coming in off the back of some sensational results over the course of the last couple of seasons, trying to get himself ahead of Nico Veldman into turn number 9, of course, but no major changes for him. He's having a bit of a look, actually, committed in the Porsche, quite committed enough, and sits back for now. So I think that answers your question, Kelsey, in terms of what we said in qualifying about how turn number 9 is going to be used as an overtaking opportunity. And for a lot of these cars, as Gardner Mav goes round, it's more just going to be a case of extending the track limits.
Yes, it is. And, well, the track limits, if those are wondering, is those 3 little boards there. So that's where the game's going to catch you out. Well, the sim's going to catch you out, I should correct myself, when you do go over at the moment. So keep an eye for drivers really stretching those limits at the moment. But Maurice Stryker, in the meantime, he got himself into P3s ahead of Sam Fleety now. There's a bit of a scrap going on in the midfield at the moment, and it looks like Fleety's trying to take that place back as they go down the main straight to start lap 2. At the moment, he's got the outside line, and, well, Stryker forced to just slot in behind at the moment, taking out the cones as they come down. Faulkner and Smokey in towards the first couple of corners again, and we've got quite the little 4-car fight for the lead of this race. And could this be a glimpse of what's to come in the races over the next 6 weeks? We'll wait and see at the moment as we continue to race here at Paul Ricard, and we've got some more action. That's Lima. I think he's trying to get his way past Troy and break into the top 10 in his Ferrari. It's Porsche versus Ferrari. Then there's a train of cars behind them as well, and slow through the corner. Lima maybe getting a little bit frustrated now. He's going to try and build up the speed for this long straight, but he's a bit compromised now, and Veloci is going to come at him.
He is indeed. The Tiger is on the hunt, and now he's looking for the prancing horse just in front of him, of Lima, who is trying to fight tooth and nail to keep hold of 11th place, maybe even himself put some pressure back onto Elias Troy for the top 10. But some fantastic battles starting to materialise up and down the field from top to bottom. We've got Folger and Smokey not separated by too much. Here comes Lima to the left-hand side, showing the sheer strength of the slipstream. The Porsche notoriously hasn't really been too keen on straight line speed, and well, that's very clearly showing in terms of the struggle that Elias Troy has, because Lima just soared past him as if he was stood still.
Yeah, he did, and it was a easy little move there, I suppose. And there's Veldman now. He's challenging Jamie Nuttall, who's a little bit further down than normal, but getting used to that Lexus rather than the Ferrari he was in last season. Similar livery to the Ferrari he had last season as well. It's a very nice looking one with the red, the white, and the black there. I do quite like it. But he's keeping Veldman at bay at the moment. He's also trying to keep Mav at bay as well. A little free car battle. And I think at the moment, even though it's the early stages of this race, it's just proven everything we've said about Paul Ricard. Really, it's a circuit that's had a lot of shade swung towards it. But as far as racing goes, there's able to be some close fighting, some trains and some big groups. We've now got 6 cars all within around a second of each other fighting for the lead.
Yeah, indeed. So, I mean, of course, it's coming down to the fact that we've taken out that Mistral chicane of what usually is turns 9, 10, and 11. But it's still lending itself quite well. The slipstream, very, very strong, of course. Just means that people need to work a little bit harder to make the moves slash when they are to get them done. Jonas Hartig under a little bit of pressure from Ivan Massey and the McLaren 720S. Very nice delivery, must be said, for that McLaren. Massey trying to move his way up to the top 15 and stake his claim. Of course, we have got a very expensive grid. Upwards, I think, what is that now? 26 cars, including a Boschett, which is nice to see. Of course, we've got, I think, even more registered for the season as a whole. Many names. I don't think I can actually count that high that quickly, so I won't. But there's a lot of cars in sport, which is always nice to see. And hopefully, throughout the season, we can see them all grouped together, very competitive and as nicely as this, because racing this close all season long. I think we're in for a good season 5.
Yeah, it'll be an incredibly exciting season 5. I was going to say during qualifying, there's a few less of the Italian army in amongst the grid at the moment, but perhaps not all of them can make it, or perhaps all have signed up for this season. But I'm sure they'll be back for force out on the track with their very patriotic liveries of of red, white, and green. At the moment, as we watch Slav in his Tiger car, he's trying to get his way past the light stripe at the moment in, well, his rather minimalist black Porsche at the moment. There's no way through at the moment for Slav. He's settling in behind at the minute. How about Matty at the moment? He's battling with McGowan coming down towards turn 1, looking for a way past. Very, very close. And McLaren versus a Ferrari looks to the inside. He's going to go for it on the brakes. He's not quite got alongside enough, but he's going to look to get the speed around the outside, runs out onto the curb. That's going to compromise now. Here comes Martin to the Ferrari. He's going to have to turn, attack into the fence now as they come down towards turn number 3. A bit of contact, I think, between McGowan and Tomasi at the moment as they're battling away through this twisty section now of sector 1. Around the outside, he's going to go. It's the long way around, and it's not really going to give him the best run through, and it's going to cost him once again. Martins is going to perhaps have another look at him at the moment. He holds him off for the time being, and now they go onto the straight, but they can have a little rest, a little nap at the moment before they get to turn number 9. And that was a great little scrap in amongst the first sector.
It was indeed. Obviously, the first sector is nice, flowy, twisty, so it is very, it opens up the door for people to do ups and unders and this, that, and the other. Nice little scratch going on there. Great respect shown. Slap the lodge on the back of Elias Troy, looking for the move into the double A right hand, but nothing really showing on this particular occasion. Looking very eager to find a way past it, must be said. But considering Troy, for the most part of his career, hasn't actually set foot into a pro race, he is actually doing a sensational job. Obviously, he was the silver champion of season 4, and now he's actually getting up, doing the dirty work with some very, very talented pros. So, yeah, it looks like the future is bright for Elias Troy going forward. Maybe be able to see him take the pros over the course of season 5. Very late on the break, slap Volodya, who is very, very eager. That Tiger livery given him a new run of form.
Yeah, that's why 7.5 here has been fairly brief, I suppose, but Elias Troy is no slouch, and he's definitely getting his elbows out in amongst it as well. Someone else trying to get his elbows out is Jack Southfield, car number 64, Lone Bentley, out there at the moment. He was looking for a way past James Wright, not found it yet. He's trying to keep Jamie Nutt out of the way as well. This is another little scrap that's going on. This is a fight for P5 at the moment with Wright, Southfield, and Veldman at the moment. Veldman trying to find a way past the Lexus. Now he's not got a way through at the moment. It's been a bit quiet towards the front end and the top 4. They haven't been causing as much drama as the rest of the grid downwards, but well, we still had plenty to look at. I'm sure that's a pot ready to boil over as we approach the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, absolutely. 10 minutes gone, of course. Yeah, still got 21 minutes and 12 seconds left to go. And Jack Southfield with not the best of qualifyings in the Bentley. Definitely not let it slow them down in the race. That's all going for the move on James Wright. Not quite able to make stick. A little bit wide from the Ferrari. Promotes the Lexus to maybe go to the inside. Here comes Southfield trying to find the space as well. The Ferrari goes a long way around, and Jamie Nutt, thank you very much, threads the needle for Lexus. Round contact. How they continue on, I don't know. But there goes the Velvet up in the 6th.
Wow, Jamie Nutt, he was very, very quick coming down the middle straight. At the moment, he got straight past Southfield in his Bentley. Looked a bit sluggish from Jack, and he just went for the move at turn 9, and he's scared right a little bit, and I think that's what compromised him into 10 and 11. And well, that's what now sees him. The contact now sees him at I think it's now the back of this 4-car fight at the moment, which isn't the best. That's going to invite Lima into the fray as well, if he can get himself a little bit closer in amongst it as well. But it all kicked off there from turn 9 onwards.
Indeed, so it's great bit of race. It must be said. Obviously, James Wright getting a little bit shaky on the exit did cause a bit of an upset for Southfield, but in the end, it sort of settled out how it's supposed to. I think, in all things considered, now we are a third of the way through race. James Wright a little bit late on the brakes, which subsequently has had this knock-on effect, and he's not been able to keep close to the back of Jack Southfield as much as he would have liked. But I think that might actually be more of a blessing than a burden, because of how close Nico Veltman and how close, obviously, Southfield is to the back of them. And not able to utilise this thing. That might be where James Wright could capitalise, but we'll see now, because the Lexus versus the Audi in terms of straight line speed. I mean, just look at how nip and tuck and agile the V10 in the back of the Audi R8 looks, and Oh, he might be able to go for a bit of a move into turn number 9. I don't think he is actually quite close enough, so at least for now, Damien Nuttall is able to stay in 5th, which considering he's done a whole new car, I don't think that can be too bad.
No, not at all. And these guys holding station for the time being, but they're buying up just excellent entertainment. Jack Southwood exploring track limits there on the exit of turn 9. There's a few things stirring in the top 4 as well. Fleety's got a bit of a gap now. Well, a bit less of a gap to Sir Smokey in P2 at the moment. Both keeping Faulkner inside, but Jack Southwood going to sneak down the inside of turn number 10. Veltman, can he get the move done? No, he can't. He didn't quite have the way through as he was on the curve. Leaders now joined the fray as well, so 5 cars. This fight has now become at the moment very shaky. Turn number 12 at the moment. That's going to invite Southwood to go around the outside. Oh, Spanners Nuttall. That is huge news, of course, for this race. A big incident after a big fight, it must be said, for those involved, and not. And well, unfortunately, it's not ended the way that Nuttall would have liked. He's dropped all the way down to P13 in this race, and wow, that's the last thing you want to see when it comes to racing action. It's promoted the last Troy into the top 10, but wow, I suppose with as many cars as we're fighting, all bunched up together, it was bound to happen at some point. It's unfortunately being Jamie Nuttall that's seen the consequences of it. Zach, I've got a bit further information. I just caught a glance at the stream, which is of course a little bit behind, but I think this man, Nico Veldman, he might be coming into, well, he might be crossing the checkered line with his tail between his legs perhaps, because I think he kicked off all that drama. It looked like he made contact with Jamie Nuttall, and that's what sent him round and slowed all of the rest of them up. I won't pass any more judgment than that, but that's what I saw on the cameras at the moment, and so that is the only way that I can call it. And we actually check in with the top 4 now, as Sir Smokey looked very close, and Jack Southfield's actually interrupted us at the moment, and he's got the move done on James Wright, got himself into the top 5. His potency for battling among the other cars in the field is not hindered at all, it seems, in the Bentley, as opposed to being in the Porsche at the moment, as he now heads this battle at the moment. And well, Veldman is just a little bit off on it. Mav's joined the fray now. This battle is one that's not going to be calming down anytime soon. The battle for P5 is firmly on.
Is indeed, and Southfield obviously with about an 8-second gap up to Maurice Stryker, who is in that 4-car train for the lead as we approach the halfway mark of the pre-season race. The TSRC PC GT3 Series here on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Been a fantastic initiation to the new season, of course, and the top 4 look as close as ever, but an 8.8 second gap back to Southfield as he heads this 5-car, well, Southfield 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5-car train all the way back to Nico Veldman for P9. He is doing his utmost, of course, to stay in front, but he's got 2 charging horses just in behind of Wright and Lima, who look eager as ever to find a way past. But yeah, Southfield, I mean, yeah, he's always been good at the racecraft side of things, the overtaking, the defending, and right now he's proven his mettle, showing why he's so good.
Yeah, he is, and well, he's leading this fight at the moment as we start to approach the halfway mark of the race, coming down the Minstrel Straight again. Here's Stryker. He's trying to find a way past Fleety at the moment, and it looks like Smokey's trying to find a way past Faulkner as well. So 2 individual battles in the whole battle for the lead of this race at the moment going on. Can Smokey find a way through? No, Stryker not able to as well. Both of them able to keep very, very close to the back. It's Ferrari versus Audi. It's almost an inter-team battle going on here, and it's side-by-side action. Here we go. Smokey and Faulkner are having a little bit of a tussle just up ahead as well. Who's going to come out on top as they come through turn 10? It looks like Faulkner has kept Smokey at bay for now, but Smokey, he's in a better place than he was last season. He's definitely getting his elbows out at the moment and fighting back at the front. Back on form is what we like to see from Sir Smokey, the man in the Audi. He's kept behind Faulkner at the moment, but this battle can only kick off even more as the 4 of them continue to race down all the way to turn number 1, keeping a battle for first place with between 4 cars.
That's exactly what we like to see. Bit of a send nearly from the Audi R8, who's looking daunting as ever. Looks to the move for the inside of turn 2. No way through there, of course, and might hamper his run. We've got a drive-through for Slav Volodya as well, picked up for track limits. Easily done around a circle like Paul Ricard. For those that don't know how ACC works, it's 1, slap on the wrist. 2, a harder slap on the wrist. 3, do it again, and it's not going to be a slap around the wrist, mate. It's going to be a smash around the head, as well as a drive-through penalty. And I think that's exactly what's happened to Slav Volodya, who finds himself out of contention now for this race. But firmly in contention is Sir Smoggy. Half a second between him and Faulkner, who so far has looked bulletproof.
Yeah, well, a drive-through penalty. It's not going to be... Well, it's going to be a huge detriment, I suppose, but at least the pit lane is relatively short here around Paul Ricard, although I think it might be one of the slower ones anyway. But that's Stuart Pryor. He's gone round in his Lamborghini at the moment. I don't know where he's dropped down to. He's definitely going to be... Oh, he's gone around again. Oh, and a big shunt into Barrier. That's a very, very hurt Lamborghini, and I don't think he'll carry on. Perhaps if he does, he's, well, props to him at the moment. But Jose Lima finds himself into P5, Zach.
Yeah, it's all about being patient. It's all about being consistent. It's all about being in it to win it. So, of course, he's managed to move his way past Jack Southfield up to 5th place, and very impressive from the man from Portugal. And, well, obviously P5 is going to be his limit, but just goes to show that as long as you're consistent, keep your head out of trouble, keep yourself in the race, chances are you might actually score quite well, because of incidents around you, drive-thrus, crashes, incidents, spins, the like. You can slowly but surely pick your way up through the order. Also, only half a tenth between Faulkner and Smoggy, as well as only half a second between Fleety and Striker. Yeah,
I think the lead has changed. Yeah, I was just looking at the track map. I saw car number 284's little dot just going ahead at the moment, and there's been a big change in here as the lead has changed now. Faulkner drops down to P2 and Smoggy into the lead as well. That whole battle for 5th, those 5 or 6 cars that were fighting, that's all broken up now into a few little individual battles between a couple of drivers. But this one has not stopped from the green flag all the way to this very moment. These 4 have been fighting tooth and nail for the front of the pack at the moment. And well, Sir Smoggy has it for the time being, but does Faulkner have a response? Do Fleety or Striker have something in the tank to get themselves into the lead? It's all still yet to play, and there's plenty of race to be written at the moment. We watch these top 4 with eager eyes at the moment, and this is surely worth a like on the stream if you are watching at the moment. It's some great racing action. It can't be missed. Here we go, Sam Fleety. He's pulling into that slipstream at the moment, trying to find a way through. Not quite, having to back off just that little bit coming through turn 9 at the moment. The 4 of them still nose to bumper at the moment. And it's going to be, oh, it's close. Oh, who's going to get the better line through here? Striker's trying to find a way through. There's so many lines you can take through these next couple of corners. And, well, you can just about see some drivers take an early apex. Some drivers go out wide and take that later one. It's all going to be down to how personal preference of which you think is faster, but there's a lot of lap time to be extracted from pretty much every corner on this track. And well, the 4 of these clearly the masters of Paul Ricard at the moment as they're coming through the final corner. Now still one by one they go through the final corner and down the pit straight. This has been the story so far many times. Faulkner not ever closer, but he's under threat from Fleety at the moment. He's got to look in front and behind, and he's got the lapped car of Stuart Pryor coming up.
He does indeed. He's got to be careful. Make sure he can negotiate them as quickly as possible. Thankfully for them, he's just like, yeah, you go on, lads. All good. No problem. Which obviously he doesn't have to do when it comes to blue flags and ACC. It's just be predictable. Don't die out of the way. Don't be stupid. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Obviously there are going to be mishaps, but it was still nice of him to do. He moved over, let them through, and now still nose to tail. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 Audis, 2 Ferraris. In the fight for supremacy in the preseason race. Who's going to go into the season already on a race win? So Smoggy looks very strong. Faulkner, though, isn't going to be too happy with losing said race lead after controlling it from pole position. But the 2 of them not really separated by much in terms of pace. Only 0.03 of a second between the 2 of them. Faulkner, though, has got to be careful. He might be looking backwards as opposed to forwards. Here comes the Audi R8. You won't even see him coming as he's wrapped in camouflage. Inside line, of course, for Sam Fleety. He's gone for the move. So close to contact with the 2 of them. And Faulkner goes the long way round. He's off the circuit. And Fleety, he's going to be eager to find another way through.
that was heart in the mouth stuff for a few moments there. I don't know how they've not made contact between the two of them. It was great respect shown as they went into that a very, very high speed corner at the moment, and they still hold station at the moment. These top four. Striker must be at the back thinking, if either of these two come together or something happens to Smokey and it interrupts the others, this could be a quick and easy win for me. But he's been sort of just tailing these guys and keeping with them as well. Got a lot of pace in that Ferrari, does Maurice Striker, and he's definitely showing it out there today. Sam Fleety is, well, he's a very experienced driver when it comes to the PC series, and here he goes again, tucking into the slipstream, pulls out to the outside. Faulkner defends the inside line, which will soon become the inside for Fleety at the moment, but less braking for Fleety, just for Faulkner, even means he can carry some more speed into the second part of the corner, and a shorter path through keeps him in front at the moment as they come through. The more that these two battle, though, the more that Smokey's going to run away if they do keep it up. So they've got to try and work together if they're going to want the lead. And no, it sounds a bit counterintuitive when you think about it, but trust me, if you work together, you can try and fight for the better position, which is, of course, the lead.
Indeed, so it's all about racecraft. It's all about the better objective, how both of you in said fight can get the most out of the race. And for these three, Faulkner, Fleety and Striker, it's going to be a case of making sure Sir Smokey does not get away, which already is bridging the gap. The gap between Smokey and Faulkner is bigger than the gap between Fleety and Striker and Faulkner as well. Side by side, the Audi 8's got a bit more of an overlap, and the Ferrari also of Striker looked quite menacing. He snapped, and is he gone? No, he hasn't. He's kept it under wraps. Sir Smokey with a bit of mistake as well. Oh my goodness me, that was very close to disaster because he turned in, turned back out, it snapped again. I thought he was a goner. Also in front, Sam Fleety trying to defend once again from Ethan Faulkner.
Yeah, I think Ethan's trying to just put his nose into some places at the moment. I think I just saw him put his nose in at turn number 9 there as they went through, or was it turn 10 perhaps? But it was a little look to the inside at the moment, perhaps to scare Fleety at the moment. But perhaps Faulkner needs to stop trying to get past him and work together, as I've said before. At the moment, here's another little fight going on at the moment. We're watching Elias Troyer battle away with Nico Veldman and Jamie Nuttall at the moment. A little three-car fight. Nuttall's found himself back into the top 10 after the spin earlier on. And, well, there'll be no love lost between position number 9 and position number 11 at the moment. That's, of course, Nuttall and Veldman, as they came together at that very corner a few moments ago. And I think it's going to be it could be 3 wide here if they manage to pull it off. I don't quite think so. It's not as long a straight as the Minstrel Straight at the moment. I've called it the Minstrel Straight. It's the Mistral Straight at the minute, pulling out, trying to find a way through. I am a little bit, actually, Zach, to be honest, but we'll carry on with the racing at the moment. But they all looking to try and get past each other into turn 1. But no luck at the moment. Veldman trying to scare Troyer at the minute. Troyer's not having any of it. He's defending the inside. He's going to keep Veldman on his outside at the minute, and he's going to swoop around that longer line at the moment, compromising Veldman's run into there at the minute, just keeping him behind. But that has left him open as the gap opens up now to Nuttall between him, and he's going to have to keep Veldman at bay even more so now.
Indeed, so down the Chocolate Pebble Straight, I think, is now what we're going to be calling it, because good old minstrels. Great bit of sweets, to be fair. Love minstrels. Not seen them in ages, but they're lovely. I don't know if the French agree, because they prefer minstrels. For straights, there's Ethan Faulkner. He's going to be loving a good old bit of cutback. The up and under sees them side by side with the Audi R8, who now has the inside for the subsequent left-hander, but the long way around for the Ferrari opens the door for his fellow. The Flying Dutchman and Maurice Striker strikes once again, and their side-by-side continues as Ethan Faulkner continues just ahead, actually, it must be said, of Striker. Faulkner, it must be said, has taken a tumble down the time in order. He's under threat of losing the podium if Smokey and Fleety don't come to blows.
Yeah, he is. I think Smokey made a mistake. He must have made a mistake for those next few corners, because the gap was 9/10. It's now 3/10 of a second. So the fight's back on. I was just about to go on a point of, if these three keep fighting as they are, Smokey's just going to keep running away. But it's a moot point now. There's no point talking about it, because Smokey's made that little error and has now got himself, well, got himself much closer to the cars that are chasing him down behind. And one thing I will say is Striker, he did make a little bit of contact and he gave the position back to Faulkner, which was nice of him to do at the moment. That's a good bit of racecraft and respect between the lot of them. But these four still, they've been for the last 25 minutes fighting tooth and nail between each other, and it's been absolutely amazing to watch.
He has. Here's a bit of a fight. This is for the top 10. Nico Veldman the long way around. He's late on the brakes. Look at that for a move. Goodness me, Nico Veldman. Bold, brave, brilliant. Bit of a send though, straight back to the inside from Elias Troyer. A half-hearted move. And, well, not been able to reap the rewards from it. Nico Veldman, though, the lateness on the brakes, using the agility of the Audi R8, and now up the front, 2 by 2, well, 2 wide initially for the third place position, and Maurice Stryker finds his way up ahead.
Cut back under. What a great little move. It was a little switchback as they went through turn 9. I saw it coming as they went through. I saw what Faulkner was planning to do with the way he positioned the car, and it was executed perfectly. Striker thought he had it done, but the other Ferrari car number 67 found his way back underneath Maurice Stryker at the moment, and they continue on as they were.
Wow, how they're continuing on like this, I do not know, but it is awesome to watch. Speechless even at some points with just 3 minutes left to go. Here comes Evandro Martin from Brazil, of course, and looking to the inside of the Aston Martin. That is, of course, of Hartig, the very blue Aston Martin, and a bit of lap traffic just dying out their way through turn 10 and 11. And, well, nice little move there. Up now into P13. Usually unlucky. Or, actually, it seems 14 is a more unlucky place for Hartig. He was a little bit sideways off the exit there, the Dane, and well, he's managed to hang on to it, but with only 2.5 minutes left to go, that fight at the front looks ever more spicy, because now track position means more than anything.
Yeah, it does. We've got 2.5 minutes left to go. And if we look toward the lap times, I'd have said we've probably got, I want to say, this is the penultimate lap.
Yep.
We'll have one more after this as we go along. So it's crunch time now for these top four and all of the other battles going on. One of them to talk about here is the BMW of Gardner Mav versus Jamie Nuttall's Lexus at the moment. 14 versus 805 at the moment. They're coming down towards the Mistral Straight at the moment as they go. Nuttall is the lead, of course, of them, and well, this is a sight for another time. These two have been, it's been sort of Smoggy and Fleety fighting each other, or Smoggy and Faulkner fighting each other. They've been fighting in pairs, I suppose, taking it in turns to each test the other's mettle as they're driving along. And well, that's it. So we've got one final lap almost. We're just coming through the last couple of corners now, and it's Smoggy followed by Fleety and Faulkner and Stryker. What have one of these drivers got to do, Zach, to get themselves on the top step in this last lap?
Well, they've got to do something, and they've got to do it quick, because with each corner that goes past, there's one less opportunity for them to make that final move. So Smoggy, he's been in control since the halfway point of this race. Ethan Faulkner has had a bit of a tumble to third, but still definitely on the cards for him. Still on the cards for all four of them if something goes drastically wrong. But the main fight, I would say, is between Smoggy and Fleety through turn number 1 for the final time of this race. Of course, through 2, Sam Fleety, he's got to push, he's got to dig deep, and he's got to find some way to get the leg up over the multiple champion of the TSRC.
Yeah, these two very familiar with fighting one another out on the circuit. And can either of them suss the other one out? We'll yet to see. The corners tick down, the time ticks down as well. 40 seconds left in this race, but of course this is going to be the final lap, and we're watching the action at the sharp end of the grid. This is the fight for first place at the moment. It's Sir Smoggy keeping it now. He's had it for the last few laps or so as he made his way past Faulkner. Then Fleety got past Faulkner himself a couple of laps ago on this very straight, of course, in a very electric few moments of racing as we're going. Can the slipstream get him any further? It's Audi versus Audi, then Ferrari versus Ferrari at the moment, so it's all down to the drivers really. The machinery's not going to help them out all too much as they go through at the moment, and well, the opportunities seem very, very lacking, or a little bit shaky from Smoggy at the moment. That might invite an opportunity for Sam Fleety to find a way through at the time being, but they still are holding station coming through these final few corners.
They are indeed. Not long left to go, of course. The pre-season race, no points on offer, but a bit of pride definitely in the mix. They've got 3 corners left to go, 1 major overtaken opportunity, but I think Sir Smokey might just be able to hang on to it and start the season off strong.
Yes, you will. Here we go then. Only 1 more corner for the drivers to navigate. After this one, it is the late braking move from Fleety. He was given the space. It didn't quite pay off for them at the moment, but this pre-season race is going to be won by Sir Smokey in the Audi at the moment. Sam Fleety comes across the line for 2nd place. Then there's Faulkner in P4. Maurice Stryker rounds off the top 4 as well. Then there's Jose Lima, who finds himself in a great P5 in his Ferrari at the moment. A great job from the Portuguese driver at the minute. Jack Southfield in the Bentley comes home in P number 6, crossing the line now. He's over. James White's crossed the line. Then there's Jamie Nuttall and Gardner Mav at the minute. Then there's Nico Veldman. What's happened there? There's a bit of a change in the timing tower. I'm not sure what's going on, but we'll keep running through drivers as they come across the line. The top 10 are all gone, and Elias Troy has managed to finish into the top 10, but I think something strange is happening with the timing tables, or did somebody get a very last-minute penalty? I'm not sure. Very strange. But we're watching Slav at the moment. His Tiger livery at the moment that's not helped him all that much in the Mercedes. At the minute, he's lamenting down in P17, but that drive-through for track limits would have affected him now as Hartig, Spies and Alcamp, they've come across the line. Again, Velogia, well, I don't know, who's that just ahead of him? I think that might be Vasconcelos at the moment as they come along, or perhaps it isn't. I can't quite see the number, but they're across the line either way, P15 and 16. And well, as the rest of the drivers get along, Zach, it's been a great pre-season race, and I think that my one question is to you: what is the season got in store for us?
Everything, absolutely everything. I mean, yeah. There's not going to be any two ways about it. I think we are in for a brilliant display of racing action, and I just cannot wait to see each and every single bit of racing action that we've got coming. We've got a huge grid of huge talent when it comes to this platform, and also 6 brilliant tracks ahead of us: Nürburgring, Suzuka, Brands Hatch, Kota, Bathurst and Misano, all of which I think have previously been on the calendar. Kota I'm a little bit iffy on, but I think all of them we've seen before, so no new tracks added to this championship, and also plenty of racing action to go with them. Bit of familiarity, of course, with these drivers. We know kind of what to expect in some cases, but also a lot left in the dark, a lot left for us to uncover, and also hopefully one of the most competitive seasons to date, because 4 cars at the end separated by a second. It bodes well, bodes really well, and the tracks that we have got are brilliant tracks, and the familiarity that we have got with them, none of them I think have had a boring race.
No, not at all. And well, we're waiting for the final results to come up onto the screen now, but I'm not sure what happened to Faulkner. Maybe he just left the session a bit early, perhaps. But is the final grid order going to come through for us? We wait and see. But yes, it has been an exceptional pre-season race, and well, it's going to be very interesting to come. I'd expect to see the likes of, well, the usual suspects in that pros, and we'll wait and see who goes into the silvers and to the AMs as well. But we'll run you through the final finishing order for this evening's TSRC GT3 Series pre-season race here at season number 5. It's Sir Smokey on the top step of the podium, flanked by Sam Fleety and Ethan Faulkner in his Ferrari. Maurice Stryker and Jose Lima round off your top 5, with Jack Southfield, James Wright, Jamie Nuttall, Gardner Mav and Nico Veldman rounding off the top 10. Then we've got Elias Troyer, Karisiak, Hartig, Spies, Alcamp, Vasconcelos, Slav, Gamello, Ferreira, Brown in number 20 at the moment, and we've just got a couple more drivers to go through. We've got Tomasi, Blanchette, Martins, Pryor, McGowan and Steenbergen rounding off the grid. And I think those couple of drivers just didn't finish the race, or a few laps down. But it's been an incredible series, or well, it's been an incredible evening of racing, Zach, and I'm very excited to go forward into the seasons to come with all of the great tracks and all of the great drivers that we've got in store. Is there any final points from yourself?
Subscribe to the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel, turn the bell on for notifications, because you're not going to want to miss a single thing over the course of the next 6 Thursdays. It's going to be one to watch for sure, and well, a season to remember.
You heard it here. Subscribe, like the streams, share them around as well. Get the word out. There's plenty of racing action for those that enjoy it as much as we do. And if you have enjoyed and you are watching at this very moment, please do make sure you've left a like on the stream, because it does help us out a lot at the moment. And we very much love doing what we do. And well, I suppose we would still do it without people to watch, but people to watch is the very reason. But I'll stop rambling on now, and I will say a very, very good, a goodbye from me, a goodbye from Zach, and of course I should say Kieran Sharp in the box as well, who I forgot to mention. But Kieran Sharp, the man behind the cams, the man showing us all the great action going on as well. Give him all of your praise and all of your support as well. But from us three here at TSRC GT3 on the JP Broadcasting channel, it's a very warm good night.